Thank you very much. I thought the order was different, but it's not a problem at all. Well, dear Vice President Cruz, dear Chair of BEREC, thank you very much for your words. Minister for the Telecommunication and Belgian Presidency, dear colleagues and ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's no doubt that it's a pleasure, as always, to be here with you. It is clear that the sector is so much interested in any audience. It's organized in this Parliament by the Commission together with Parliament, or the Commission itself, like in this case, that, well, this is because we have so many people here. Well, I will start, well, I have to say something before. There is no doubt that we are dealing with the same topic, and there is, I would say, a high degree of coincidence in many aspects. So you are going to, once and again, listen about more or less the same approaches. I will try to emphasize some of them, and I will try to look for another angles. But at the end of the day, it's more or less the same that we had been listening to previous speakers in this round and before that. Well, I will start by saying that for Parliament, the ability of end users to access and distribute information or run applications and services of their choice is, without any doubt, a crucial matter if we are to preserve an open and neutral Internet. Indeed, with the adoption of the telecom package, which, as all you know, are currently under transposition, the European institutions enshrined the net neutrality as a policy objective and regulatory principle, and at the same time strengthened the transparency requirements and the creation of safeguard powers for national regulatory authorities to prevent degradation of services and the hindering or slowing down of traffic over public networks. In addition, as you remember, the Commission, through an attached declaration to the review, committed itself to monitor the impact of market and technological developments of net freedoms and to assess on whether additional guidance will be required. The net neutrality reflection debate is, as all we know, a direct consequence of the success story of Internet. We are here because Internet has such a success story. We can say, and I want to put this in a more broader sense because I think it's also important. We can say that Internet is a kind of new world discovered by humanity through technology. A new world that opens up at the same time great possibilities for economical and social progress, but that also presents a series of risks that we must take into account. Indeed, opportunities and risks are usually the two faces of the same coin of progress, and Internet is not an exception. I also want to say that this new world is under construction, and we should not forget that the principles apply to the construction of this new world must be the one that we apply offline. The principles offline and online for comparable sectors and problems should be the same. Operationally speaking, are of course different, but we have not to forget that should be the same, must be the same, because we are in the same democratic and free market society. So those principles must be the same. I think this is important as a guideline any time we are dealing with Internet. Well, having said that, there are several aspects in relation with the current net neutrality debate where there is a general consensus and which I would like to underline, and the Commission has perfectly underlined with the Commissioner here and in their papers. Well, first, traffic management is a necessary and essential part of the operation of an efficient Internet, and consequently is indispensable in order to address congestion problems and security issues. Because of that, traffic management is not at all contrary to the net neutrality principles. Second, effective consumer transparency is essential. We have been listening to that all the time in order to evaluate if discriminatory practices are taking place. Third, innovation is a masterpiece of ICT development. Consequently, flexibility is a principle which has to be present when approaching any aspect related to the Internet. However, there are other areas which do not arouse such a broad consensus. First, we find voices that raise concerns with regards to the possible negative effects of not having a clear distinction between managed services and the best effort Internet, and based on that, call for establishing and crystallizing the same quality of service conditions to all managed services. The second area of controversy comes due to possible future commercial arrangements of Internet access which might develop into discriminatory practices. There is no doubt, in my opinion, that these concerns must be taken into account. However, I think in order to contravene these risks, we must start by guaranteeing the following sine qua non conditions. In the first place, you also have been listening to this, the existence of a competitive market is the necessary condition to avoid discriminatory practices. And in this context, a prerequisite for a competitive market to exist is the real possibility for consumers to switch in an easy, quick, and not too much costly way to a different operator or Internet service provider. Without such possibility, even if according to some competition indicators there is competition in a market, the market in reality will be a diminished competitive market. The second sine qua non condition is transparency. That is, the availability for consumers to really know in a friendly and comprehensible way information as the following. A, the conditions limiting access to and use of services and applications. B, the minimum service quality levels offered. And C, be informed of any procedures put in place by the undertaking to measure and shape traffic. All this information is crucial for the consumer to decide if he wants to switch or not to another operator or service provider. And let me here to make the following comment. It's very clear that to switch you have to know, and you have to put all the information on the floor in order for the consumers to know that. But at the same time, we cannot forget that the main source in many aspects of information is practice. A person, a user, a consumer, know more on any sector as far as practice in that sector. So that means that if we are intensive users or we need the use of Internet for many, many, many aspects of our life, we will, for ourselves, to know immediately if we are having, in reality, the best, really the best quality of service, the best information, and so on and so on. We use banks, and when the banks is not treating us in the way we expect, we change banks in a natural manner. We change the bank. But in the case of Internet, will be more and more and more the same. Indeed, the main switchers group are the younger people, because they focus and they face in other manner. So I finish in 1 minute. Just want to say, yeah, I'm sorry. Just want to say that we also need to have. We don't have quality of service performance indicators that will help us evaluate to what extent there is a problem in this area and to establish performance goals if deemed appropriate. And in this sense, it is important to work on reliable measurement instruments I'm going to avoid say other things because the chairman, as you say, you can see, is really taking good care of his role, and I have to finish now. But just I want to say at the very end, I believe that at the current stage, the response to the public consultation on net neutrality done by BEREC, I'm sorry, I follow in BEREC, stating that at present it would be premature to consider further intervention with respect to net neutrality on an EU level is the most appropriate way to proceed. In conclusion, in my view, it is first urgent to fully transpose the revised regulatory framework while ensuring, this is very important, its consistent implementation across the European Union, and secondly, national regulators, BEREC and the Commission must continually monitor future developments and act as early warning mechanisms if any foreseeable features of the net neutrality principle are detected. That's all. Thank you very much.